Happy Monday morning, everyone. Welcome into this Stockout Community update. There's no better way to start your Monday morning than with Grace Sharkey herself. Grace, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, doing good. Spartans got a win for homecoming, so I'm happy to go here in Michigan, and happy to see you this morning as well.
So, Grace, there was this new recent survey that comes out talking about consumer loyalty. Can you kind of go into that a little bit and kind of tell us a little bit about what these brands are having to do to make sure that customers are staying loyal to them?
Yeah, so shout out to Deloitte. They came out with their 2024 Consumer Loyalty Survey, and we're diving into two big topics here. And as someone who loves to buy things, and I hope everyone out there and fans of the Stockout love to buy things as well, we learn not only the loyalty and more of like the reward systems that brands are offering, but we're also diving into some of the facts behind partnerships as well. So to kind of name a few, when you talk about partnerships, for example, you could look at something like Taco Bell and Doritos, right? Or even Taco Bell and Mountain Dew and Baja Blast, and how that's, of course, grown in stores at Taco Bell and now has made it to the shelves, and what that loyalty means to the average consumer. And across the board, 86% of consumers, according to again Deloitte, are looking for more in the rewards program area, more of an actual financial reward. I think a lot of times there's a few I'd say even like grocery loyalty programs that tend to offer maybe a free product after a large amount of points have been accumulated. I think that could be looked at as financial. Sometimes it comes with like buy one, get one, things of that nature. I think those tend to get pushed away a little bit more through loyalty programs where people are looking for actual dollars back in savings, right? Seeing that actual dollar come back to them and come to fruition. And on top of that, right, like we talked about with something like Doritos, we could also see currently right now, this is a little bit outside stack up, but everywhere you go, SpongeBob is being enjoyed. Krabby Patties are being offered in other places. That brand aspect of that loyalty, too, is starting to drive these businesses and how they're going to connect with their consumers over time as well.
Grace, I know for me that, sorry, I was having a little bit of issues with my ears just there for a second. But I know for me, when it comes to like using the apps of some of these, like McDonald's, for example, I use the McDonald's app probably a little more than I should because I do get some of these rewards. Like every time that I go and use that app, I usually can get some kind of free sandwich with my meal. And that just incentivizes me to go and use that app that much more. And I think that's one of the big things that a lot of these brands are really starting to see. You're starting to see that a little more with a lot of these brands. Some of the apps aren't as good. I won't name any names. Don't want to throw shade at anybody, but you are starting to see them incentivize people for using or trying to incentivize and give rewards for people that are using their apps or whatever the case may be, where they can extend an extra offer to their consumer.
Oh, 1,000%. I think that's the exclusivity offering, right? Where it's like you can't purchase. You brought up McDonald's is a great one. There's a lot of times products that you can't buy just going through the store that you can actually get on the app. You see that more and more. Kroger, for example, is one in particular where there are some offerings that you can, of course, get in store with your regular Kroger card, but there are some that you can't unless you actually clip the online e-mobile coupon and use that in store as well. So 100%. I think what's interesting, you bring up the more digital experience too. We're seeing that more and more from Gen Zs and millennials in particular. Over 50% of Gen Zs and millennials also want kind of like this member community aspect as well with what they're offering. They want to be able to communicate, whether that's through Discord boards or some type of community posting center. On top of that, too, the gamification of it all. Can you get so many tiers? You see that, I think, a lot from Starbucks, right? If you order this many items, then you get a special loyalty points or drink or beverage back. Again, I think that's what's driving a lot of these purchases and that willingness to come back to. And we're seeing even more of that digital experience being needed more and more and more from the younger generations than compared to those, of course, with the older generations as well, more of the boomers and on.
Right. A lot of these kids growing up nowadays, they call them iPad babies because they grow up
Yeah.
on technology. So the best way to reach those consumers as they're getting older and starting to drive and being able to go out to these stores or restaurants or whatever the case may be is to put things online because that's the way you have to connect with them.
Yeah, you know what? I am a millennial, so I will throw myself in there. I sometimes avoid going to restaurants if I can't order it online to begin with. Like, I'm getting to that point in my life where you brought up the McDonald's app. That's a great one. I can't even remember the last time I talked to McDonald's, right? One on one, other than just saying, here's my code and keep it moving. And so we talk about a lot of the digital experience just in this industry in general. And it's I think going to be a really interesting ride to see how the younger generation takes that digital format and increases that. But it's really good to see that brands, businesses. Target's got another great one. Circle is an awesome program. How some of these businesses, and I'd like to see even CPG companies kind of step up and start offering something more, or even more so. We didn't get too much into it, but the brand partnerships, right? Target and Ulta are a big one. You can now basically get a mini Ulta store in a number of the larger Targets across the country. I think leveraging those components, bringing two different brands together, two different consumers together in one place is going to be huge over time as well.
Got two things real quick. Target, I love their app because I know a lot of places will tell you exactly what aisle some item is down.
Yeah.
It uses the GPS in your phone to show you exactly where you need to walk to and like what portion of that aisle it's on. So I've always really liked that. But going back to the brand partnerships, I mean, another one that comes to mind for me is Taco Bell and Doritos. The Doritos Locos Taco. They had several for years. I think they've dropped it back down now to just the nacho cheese, but still, I mean, that's great awareness for both brands because when you put out ads or whatnot, you're representing both of those brands. So I do think you'll start seeing a little bit more partnerships like that between restaurants and chip brands or whatever kind of brand that wants to get involved with the restaurant business.
Yeah, and on the Taco Bell, shout out to them. Exclusive through the app, you can get the Baja Blast ice cream now. So make sure, yeah, exactly. But you got it. You have to order it through the app, and you have to pick up at a drive-through. You can't go in store, and you can't buy it just one-on-one. So again, will we see less of these? Taco Bell, Starbucks buildings, and more of these just kind of quick online customer order type of experiences? I would put money on it for sure.
I definitely think that's the direction that we are going to be moving going forward as well, Grace. We got the Stockout coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Can you give us a little bit of an update about what we might see on today's episode?
Yeah, actually, we're going to have a lot of fun, I think, on today's episode. We'll get a little bit into customer loyalty. We'll get into Mattel and a lot of their strategies and supply chain strategies behind that, too. Of course, we got some wonderful SONAR charts to go over and see where the market is heading for everyone and all those shippers out there watching as well. So, of course, go check that out. And even more so, if you want to see us in action, make sure you head to live.freightwaves.com and of course, get tickets for F3, which is quite literally 1 month away. Crazy.
Yeah, F3 is going to be a lot of fun this year. It's always a blast. This year we've got Stone Temple Pilots playing. So if that's something that you've had on your bucket list, just even more reason to come to F3 this year. Grace, if people want to catch the Stockout or the show or the newsletter, how can they do that?
Well, wherever you're watching this right now, just kind of stay there for the next 20 minutes and you'll see us in a little bit. But you can, of course, check it out on YouTube. You can check out repeats on YouTube and anywhere you listen to podcasts as well. And then make sure you join our community newsletter. Head to newsletters at the top of the FreightWaves page and add the Stockout tiers as well.
Well, Grace, it's always a pleasure to have you on for this community update. We will talk with you next week.
Thanks, Isaiah.